create a fear factor.
I don't know what happened there. What was that tech support?
Oh, that's weird. Who's that tech support? Is that Miles trying to get in on the app from Fuerteventura or somewhere?
No idea, but we had somebody in the background. I've never
Russian hackers.
We've been hacked. Sorry, Vicky. Go ahead. What you were saying there.
So obviously, like Ian was saying, this about the sort of sorry, that just threw my train of thought entirely. But so Ian was just saying about we're being cautious, confident that and I think it's that fear factor that you can create that teams don't necessarily go for you as hard as they would have done if they're worried about the goals that you're going to score. And I think we've started to create that now, haven't we? And that can only be a positive.
Yeah. Like Leeds did last year, as you rightly said.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. I thought. I mean, I just never had that. You know, when you get the feeling you're under pressure and you're going to succeed. I didn't think yesterday that I had no fear at all about us losing that game. I thought we were going to win it. I was pretty confident from the start, and as the game went on, I was more than even though we scored late. I just got that impression we had just a little bit more than they did at the end of the day, and it panned out that way. Okay, then second half, then Claudio. Let's talk about second half because.
Shall I do these comments first because I've got loads.
Go on, and if you've got a few piling up, let's go on them.
Right, there's obviously been an issue with so they missed the first 10 minutes, which is probably lucky. That was me. Right, let's read these comments. Jack Saunders says, "Now you're going to believe us." What is going on tonight? It's just sticking. Right, here we go.
You missed the first 10 minutes, but you only missed Claudio waffling on.
Oasis 4185 says, "Great 3 points, but can we discuss how poor Wright is? Either he's playing to not get injured for international duty or just simply not that good, but glad when we sell the lazy lump." Mark Robbins had more salt in him than the ocean, oozing out of him in the interview. Rich T says, what are we going to do without any Sky Blues football for 2 weeks? Paul Stratton, good teams always find a way. Thought Stoke were very ordinary. Obviously wanted to point from kickoff. What is wrong with Haji? Fordy says, I'll get this up on the screen. What a great 3 points. Last year we lose a game like that and reminded me of the League One campaign and performance that gets us promoted. Well, last year we did lose it 1-0 at Stoke.
Yeah.
First game of the season, playing exactly like that. Glenn Watkins says, Robinson made himself look bitter and very salty with his comments post-match. I thought we had more class than that.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a bit later. I'm going to talk about his comments after the game in a bit.
Oasis 4185. If Leeds offer Fredo Bar, I'd sell Bright. Okay, I think he's worth a bit more than that. Disappointed with MR's post-match interview. Should have been gracious in defeat, says Rich T. I've never seen a Robin side play so much hoofball. Paul Cuttiford. Wright is just out of sorts and is heading for the Sims treatment. He needs to pull his socks up or will be replaced. Stoke were very poor. A decent forwards would have killed it off before half-time. Assassins Unite. We've got super Frankie Lampard. He knows exactly what we need. Bobby at the back. Haji in attack. We're going to the Premier League. Steve Price. What a massive win. Fantastic goal. We're going to win the league. Janet gallantly. Next 3-game week is big. I thought the last two were. We have a chance to get a real lead over the competition. You're being greedy, Jane. Still unbeaten in England, says Cov 9290. Glenn Watkin also. And also the ref was shocking, as Stoke could have had at least one red card, if not two, for some awful challenges. Glenn Watkin, 11 years ago today, we were beaten at home by Worcester City in the FA Cup. Now we're at top of the Championship. It was a shame, MR post-match, but who cares? As great as he was for us, he's the past and we look to the future. That's from 40. Big Pete, good evening, guys. Great win yesterday. Thought we'd had a great team performance. I presume the milk keg was for the tea today in Tesco's. I was next next to him would have said hello, but you was on your phone. That's not a surprise.
Sorry about that. I didn't realise.
Jack Saunders, how nice is it to talk about being 5 points clear at the top, a win, a wonder goal, and not to have to worry about referees ruining the game? Running the game or ruining the game. I'm trying to breathe from distance here. Paul Stratton says, did I see right? Did the Stoke defender kick EMC while he was out cold? I don't think so. Blimey. Wayne Brewerton, great win, great goal, and a bit of a moan from a former manager in the interview. Assassin Unite also says, we never had a manager fighting for us like Lamps. His passion for the club is great to see. Loved him giving it back to the Stoke fans at the end. Interesting what happened at the start of the show then, because we always get issues when it's bad weather. It started. It's raining here. I don't know what the weather's like in France, but it's been peeing it down basically.
Bit nippy, but clear.
Yeah. Frank Wright is one of the best strikers in the Championship. The stats don't lie. He will start scoring again. Hopefully, Rudy's back in some capacity after the break, says Rich D. Ralph Wiggins. Good evening, folks. What a wonderful result for us fans. What a terrific goal, says as well. Assassin's Unite. De Silva was awesome yesterday, but the back four and keeper was superb. They didn't offer much, but they stood strong. And we've just been pointing out there that I presume it's working now on Facebook, YouTube.
They've had a problem on Facebook as well, but I think it's gone live now, so it must be delayed for some reason.
I had a bit of play with our stats earlier. Did you know that in 43 games since Frank took over, we have 85 points with a total goal difference of 39. We'd be in third place after 43 games last season. So quite impressive, isn't it, really? Doug Bloom saying Sky Blue Fans TV doing a CWR on us. Yes, Steve CWR yesterday was all over the place. They completely lost the sound, and he had to have the commentary from Stoke, which made me laugh. Yeah, which made me laugh because at the end of the first half, the guy said, "Oh, I think Coventry just had the edge on us that half." The fact that they only touched the ball 5 times in our box compared to our 19 suggests it was more than an edge.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And I actually you mentioned the fullbacks, Ian. I don't know what you thought of it watching, but I put, me and Miles were texting each other, and I said 2 things. I didn't think Sakamoto got the ball enough in the first half. And also, I put here, both fullbacks started well. Silver, MVE, superb. Is that how you saw it?
Completely. Yeah, I agree about Tats not getting the ball as much, but the trouble is he comes back and does so much work. He's often taken the overlap and he's further back than Milan is, doing all the grafting. So when the attack breaks down, it's difficult to find him like EMC is out wide because he's puffing, getting his breath back to run back up the line. But I thought both fullbacks were outstanding yesterday.
Yeah. Ken, you were there, Ken. So when you're behind the goal, how are the fans viewing it? Because obviously when I'm at home relaxing with a pint in my hand and feet up, pipe and slippers watching it, thinking Stoke look like they can't lay a glove on us. Because that's what it looked like to me. I didn't feel threatened at all by Stoke.
No, I didn't know. And everybody around me was the same. We all were pretty confident we could get something out of it because I wasn't very impressed with them at all, to be honest. They had a couple of little bits of bother. You expect they're the home team. They're going to put you under a little bit of pressure. But there's nothing to be scared of. And I was chatting to the guy next to me, and I said we can go on and win this, no problem. I just thought it was a matter of time before we scored. I mean, I know we left it late to score, but and look, before the game, most of us would have took a point. Agreed. I think we'd all have took a point. But as the game went on, I thought, well, hold on, we're the better team here. We deserve to win it, and we did. And it was a super strike that did it in the end. I don't know. Going back to that first half, there was an instant in the first half, a penalty call. Did you see that quite clearly, Ian? Did you think it was a penalty? I'd
love to say we should have had a penalty and the ref was wrong, but he touched him. His arm went up, touched him on the shoulder, but unfortunately Brandon went down like a sack of potatoes.
Not enough for you then for a pen. No.
If that had been given against us, I'd have been going livid.
It was down the other end from where we were because we couldn't quite see, but I do remember that in the first half, and And I thought, well, it looked from where we were, maybe it's possible, but obviously I haven't seen that again in a replay, so I wasn't 100% sure. Second, yeah, go on. Sorry,
I was more annoyed that he went down so easily because he was in a good position.
Yeah,
and it reminded me a couple of times with Thomas Asante what he was doing last season, where he just kept going down a bit too easy in that first half. Haji Wright, I've written here in my notes after 10 minutes. I put poor yet again, keeps losing possession, not tracking back. That's in the first 10 minutes. The game's only started, and I was thinking he's having a mare already. So I was a bit disappointed up front, I thought, actually, yesterday.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to clear this up. I've seen this message here. I was in the crowd, and there was a bit of confusion over this about the minute silence. The minute silence was observed impeccably. However, they did it slightly different to what we do. We did it when we did it at home. They did the bugle guy was doing the last post, and then it was supposed to. The minute silence was supposed to start and finish on the referee's whistle. Now the referee never blew his whistle after the bugle finished. Everybody thought, oh, and everybody started clapping. Oh, come on, City! And then everybody was going, oh, shut up, shut up, shut up. The minute silence started. But I never heard the referee blow the whistle to start it. It just automatically started after the bugle stopped. And then he blew it at the end. That was confusing.
Just a misunderstanding.
There was no one deliberately.
And they soon went quiet, to be fair. 3 or 4 seconds in, it all went quiet again. So Stoke fans calling us a disgrace, I thought was awful.
Yeah, I thought that. Cause it wasn't no one deliberately did that. It was maybe a little bit of misunderstanding, but they did it slightly different to what we did, obviously, because I always thought it started and finished on the referee's whistle. They normally say that, don't they? I never heard the referee blew the whistle after the bugle finished. So therefore, everybody thought, oh, is that it? And then they all started cheering, like normally do at the end. But no, it was a continuation.
I think the instruction was, I've seen a video and the guy says, we've got the last post, then the referee will blow the whistle to start the minute silence. Right. What happened was, because on Tuesday night, we did the last post and then he virtually blew the whistle straight away. Yes. And I think sometimes you've got to read the room as a referee and think, you've done the last post, that's already longer than a minute. People are going to think that is it.
Yes. And I think that's what the confusion was. Everybody thought that was it.
Yeah, no one did it.
It's not hard.
No. But I've seen a lot of Stoke fans on social media.
It's not quantum physics.
But I've seen a lot of Stoke fans on social media, like calling out the fans that are having a dig, saying, "Look, it was just genuine confusion. You could tell what had happened. Stopped trying to score points." And so the majority of them know that it just was a genuine mistake, and everyone got a bit confused.
Yeah, and everybody was quiet afterwards, and they observed it then until the end. So there was no big deal, and there's no, There's
and in all fairness, the Stoke fans continued the minute silence for the whole 90 minutes, didn't they?
Well, I think they did. They were very quiet the whole match. Yeah.
I heard them once in the second half where they had a corner and they sang "And the Stoke go marching in" or something, or the Reds go or something or other for about 30 seconds, and that was it. And the guy on the commentary was going, "Oh, listen to the atmosphere now." I thought that's the first time they've actually. Where are the fans? Where are the Stoke fans? Second in the table on a good run. That whole block empty next to the away fans. Where are they?
We were singing "We Forgot That You Were Here" when they started singing there when they had a corner. And they
the year that they got promotion 10, 15 years ago, whenever it was, do you know their average gate was 14,000?
Oh, isn't it?
In a promotion year.
Yeah. Wow. Just shows you, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know. It weren't a sellout either because there was plenty of empty seats in their end. I mean, we sold out, but there's plenty of empty seats in the home end. We could see there's loads of them. So I don't know where they all were, but they're very, very quiet. Anyway, look, let's talk about Cloudy this second half and the performance of Haji Wright, because second half, obviously there was a few more chances in the second half. We had a couple of chances here and there, but even so, I thought we dominated that second half. I don't think they really caused us any issues whatsoever. But a lot of people around me were moaning about Haji Wright. Get him off. He should never have come out second half. He should have been off at half time. What was your view from at home watching it?
Well, he picked up a silly booking in the first half, I think, where he
what was he doing that, dragging him back like that?
Dragged the bloke back, and then the second half he had that chance for a shot, didn't he? Where he just ballooned it.
Yeah,
when he probably should have laid off EMC. He's been out of sorts for 4 or 5 games. We can't deny this. I mean, I don't want to sell him because we know he can score goals, but somebody needs to take him aside and have a little word in his ear and say, "Come on, we're top of the league, and you've not really contributed the last 5 games.
No.
You know, he needs to up his game, basically, because he's got a guy on the and it worries me because we had the same situation the back end of last season where he wasn't playing particularly well after that hat trick, and Ellis Sims couldn't get in the team. He couldn't get in the starting lineup. So what is going on there? I just don't think Frank likes Ellis Sims. It just seems obvious to me because he's had plenty of opportunities playing when Wright's not been up to it. And he maybe should have come on earlier because I thought he contributed well against Wrexham when we lost there, at least when he came on for that 10 minutes.
And as he did on Saturday as well.
And he came on, he got the flick on. But I just think Wright's just been awful. Let's be honest, he's been awful the last 5 games. You know, let's not dress it up as jet lag and confidence and all that. In fact, to be honest, I'd sooner go with confidence than jet lag. Put it that way, because
I mean that shot he had in the second half, it blazed it over the bar. He could easily have played in EMC, couldn't he?
I think he
tried to shoot.
He was launching it to the USA, wasn't he? So he could catch it on the way over or something.
Awful.
But it's disappointing because we are where we are, and you just feel like he's not really firing, like we want him to.
No. Vicky, what was your view on Haji Wright? Because I know you're very much in Ellis Sims' corner, and fair play to him. He's done well when he's come on the last couple of games. What was your view on Haji? Do you think he perhaps should have been taken off earlier? Or
what's interesting, actually, I remember we were talking about it on Thursday's show and talking about strikers and the sort of expectation that they're going to be at 100% every game, every week, and that in reality is not true. And every striker we've ever had will have good and bad spells. But and also then you talk about strikers for other teams and how great they are, but you only really see the highlights of them. Well, this is the first game that I haven't seen all season, so I was hoping first of all that I didn't start a curse by us losing, so that because I hadn't seen it. But so it was all good. That's all good. But as a consequence, all I have seen is the extended highlights. And interestingly, from that, you wouldn't have thought that Wright had that bad a game. They showed him creating a transfer tour for a couple of other instances, and so it's interesting the perspective you get when you haven't seen a whole game. And that's what we were talking about with other strikers, where we talk about how great we think strikers are for other teams and how they're better than what we've got, when I don't think that's necessarily true. But what the highlights show, which is different to what you see if you see a whole game. So from the highlights, he didn't look that bad. But obviously, what I'm being told from people that saw the whole game is a different story.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, what was your view on Haji? Do you think he should have probably come off at half time?
Like Claudio, it's baffling. He's on his day, one of the top 2 or 3 strikers in the league. And he hasn't turned up. Other than an obvious tap-in for Brandon the other night, he's done very little. Now, I'm going to surprise Vicky here, because she knows my opinion of Mr. Ellis. But the gap between Ellis and Haji is getting narrower, because Haji's producing nothing. And Ellis, when he comes on this season, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he hasn't done too bad. He's trapped a ball, he's passed a ball, he's done all the basics that I wouldn't have thought he was capable of doing last season.
Yeah.
But I know Claudio's laughing, but he finds a player with a pass.
He's trapped a ball. I love that.
And he's knocking it about, and he plays it wide, and he got the little flick on yesterday.
His first movement, Ian, yesterday when he come on, was to hold the ball up and play somebody in straight away.
Yeah,
which is he did it.
Which is very. I don't know if we've got Ellis Sims' twin brother this season. I'm joking, Vicky. To be honest, fair play to the bloke. He's gone up a level, and therefore with Haji being so bad, I'm not half as nervous about bringing Ellis on now as I would have been, previously. So I'm all for giving Ellis a good half, if not a start.
Yeah. I mean,
I never thought I'd say that.
I never thought I'd hear it.
There was a lot of people around me on Saturday moaning about Haji. Get him off. He shouldn't come on. It should never have been on the second half. How come he's still on the pitch? And then when he did that shot that went over the bar, went out of the stadium, I think, wherever he went. Oh, that was the last straw for some guy. He was going mad. Get him off! Get him off! But yeah, he was awful. He was awful.
Especially Ken when he's got options. If anything, what let us down is yesterday was a fantastic win. So in some ways, you can look at that. And it's not often I say this when I watch a match and actually felt like they weren't going to score. And I'm sure we could get. Worst case scenario was a draw, which I thought would have been a waste, really. But it's options up front. At some time, we're not very good at times. Although we scored so many goals, it's surprising how many more we would get if we just make the right pass at critical times. And it's normally when it's a 3-on-2 situation or a 2-on-2. I mean, I'm so surprised that Haji passed the ball the other night to Asante, because normally he'd shoot, wouldn't he?
So were half of his teammates. Did you hear the comments on Unseen?
Yeah, exactly.
They were really ribbing him about that.
If we sort out the final third, we're going to be properly unstoppable second half the last 2/3 of this season. At the minute, there's nobody better than us in this division. I'm going to start lauding it now and we've proved it. And when people say, who have you played? Well, we've played 3 of the top 6 if you look now. And everybody else is below us. It's not our fault. We're on top of the league. Not much we can do about it, is there? Really?
Well, exactly. But you play who's in front of you. It's not our fault. We don't do the fixtures are the fixtures. There's no easy games in this league. Whoever you're playing.
All season, we've been told that, especially that second tier podcast. Zorba Thomas, what a player he is. Shamadou, what a player. That Manoff, whatever his name is, who won him miss, what a player. Baker's playing the season of his life. They've been going about him. None of them showed up yesterday.
No.
That's down to us. That's down to us. That is, as far as I'm concerned. We did what we had to do.
Yeah, Frank had done his own work. He knew all their danger men were, and he knew the way to play against them. And I think he set us up spot on. To play against them and nullified them, if you like, because. Let's face it, they were on form, weren't they? They were a form team. They got into second place.
What would you do, guys, if Leeds come in with, give me a number, 20 million January?
Selling.
Without a doubt. 20 million, yeah, definitely. There's somebody out there. I'm sure there's somebody out there you can get for 20 million replacement for Haji. I'm sure there is.
Vicky?
Doug would sell him for 20 million.
I'd personally want more than this. The worry is that people say there's someone out there that's better, but there isn't. Is there someone guaranteed better for 20 million? I'm not sure there is.
I don't suppose you can guarantee anything in football, but I think Frank would find somebody equivalent to Haji, or if not better. Maybe
Haji gets a lot of stick. Haji gets a lot of stick, but over the last 3. The 2 previous seasons and this season, and he has been one of the better strikers in the Championship.
Yeah,
and so it's difficult to replace that.
Vicky, I think you've got to base it on how many goals he's got by January, because if he's still on 8 goals, then they will start thinking, well, if somebody comes in with 20 million, but then somebody ain't going to offer 20 million if he's still on 8 goals.
But he's well on course. Because all strikers have little blips, don't they? I mean, Vic went about 2 months without scoring over Christmas one year, and so every striker has these blips, don't they? And he's well on course to be getting sort of 15 plus again this season, and that'll be 3 seasons in a row where he's getting double figures, and I don't think that's easy to replace. So,
but is it the goals or the performance?
I was just going to say that, Claudio. When most strikers have a barren period, they're working their socks off to get goals, and they're missing, they're slicing, they step over it, but they're still grafting. I don't see that from Haji.
Yeah, I think that's the issue.
His body language doesn't come across well, does it, to the fans? we can see him like the way he looks, the way he's not running for some balls where he perhaps could have got. You know, he's not like Tats. He'll run from one end of the pitch to the other, won't he? If he loses the ball, he'll try and get it back.
Tats will chase a crisp packet.
Yeah. You don't see that from Haji. You know, if he loses the ball, he'll flap his hands in the air or whatever. But you won't see him running around like that, like Tats does. And that's the difference, isn't it? Unfortunately. But, you know, anyway, look, second half, let's have a look at this goal, because a few people obviously missed it. We had technical problems at the start of the show. We did start with it. And,
orange surface just off the pitch, and now back onto the grass and hurls it in, and this time it's hooked home. It's a goal for Coventry City. It banked.
There you go. What a finish, Ian. Were you up off your chair, weren't you?
Stunning. I nearly jumped to the ceiling when it went in. And the dogs were running around thinking something was horrible was happening.
Yeah,
it's terrific. Terrific finish. Yeah, I was half waiting for the ref to blow his whistle for a dangerous kick, because that's just about our luck.
Yeah, I was looking for. I looked over the line and I looked at the ref, and there was nothing. I thought it's a goal. You know, it's a goal.
Brilliant finish. He had one. Was it at Blackburn last year that was disallowed for offside? He had one similar.
That's right. Yeah.
Burnley.
Yeah. So it's obviously something that he's got in his locker.
Yeah. He was a threat to them all game. I thought he was a threat down that left hand side, and then but to finish like that, and it's a shame he got injured a little bit. He got hurt, didn't he? But he was all right. We were all singing his name, and there's a little picture of him. He looked up and done a little fist pump. That's him on the floor getting treatment.
That's an iconic print, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And everybody was singing his song, and he looked up and made a signal to the Cov fans, which I thought was brilliant. But yeah, how he swiveled on that ball like that was absolutely tremendous.
And actually, the ball wasn't that high, was it?
No. And he fell, and obviously, I don't know, it's one of their players who's fell onto him or something, but he's not. He lost consciousness for a bit, didn't he? He knocked him out a little bit, I think.
Got stitches in his cheekbone, I think.
Yeah, and he was a bit, because he looked really bad. I thought, God, he stayed down for a while, and and then everybody was getting a bit concerned, and obviously he got up there and did that little fist thing, and we thought, oh, he's okay, you know. But then they called for the stretcher, so he's still a bit groggy. He couldn't walk off, so they stretchered him off in the end. But yeah, he got a good round of applause from the Cov fans when he went off. So it was a fantastic goal. But what was your thoughts on the goal, Vic? Because I think you out your chair.
Cracking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a brilliant finish. I mean, he's got that. As Ian said, he's got that in his locker, hasn't he? And he's just such a threat, I thought, on Saturday, and it was a.
Well, I think as well, we said, didn't we, before about the throw-ins from Milan, and the last few months they've got really, they've become a threat, haven't they? We were saying sort of last season that maybe we weren't using that to its best ability, but this season that's really become a threat, and so that was another great throw. Obviously, I was then delighted to see that Sims had a little flick on. Because
I was about to say your man Ellis got the flick on. As we were saying, last couple of games, it's been brilliant.
I think, it's what he's doing better this season, isn't he? Being stronger. Like, there's two Stoke defenders trying to get there first, and he's like, no, this is my ball. And that's what he's doing better when he comes on this season. He's just being more of a presence and not. Last season, I used to find that if it was a defender, he'd go, oh, you go first, and basically wave them through. Whereas this season, he's like, no, I want this ball, I'm getting it. And that's what he did for that header. There was two defenders, and he got there first and flicked it on. And like the Ian just said, we knew that everyone's got that in his locker. So all in all, it's just great. And those sorts of goals are always special, aren't they? Especially so late in the game as well, where you think it's been out for a 0-0, and then a goal like that's just cracking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just it took a worldie really to win it, didn't it? And it was one of those goals which everybody will remember. Claudio, you spilt all your coffee when the goal went in, didn't you? You jumped about your chair.
I missed it. I left early. No, joking. Well, I tell you what impressed me, apart from the goal, which was magnificent, there was another 19 minutes to play where they created nothing. We saw the game out. I thought it was brilliant.
That was our biggest concern when the board went up with the minutes left.
Yeah, but it went on forever. 19 minutes we played after that goal was scored, and they didn't lay a glove on us. We kept them away from our goal for 19 minutes against a team who've been scoring goals all week with so-called magnificent players. We were told how brilliant they were going forward, and we kept them at bay. And that's credit to the team. That's credit to the players for that last 19 minutes. The work rate, tremendous. Yeah, especially when they took the ball in the corner and everything was superb. That was.
Yeah.
They tried to kill it.
Hayden came on, didn't he?
Yeah, well, they spent... I mean, I don't think they realised there's still 5 minutes left on the clock when they tried to take the ball down by the corner flag.
Corner flag, yeah, there's still 5 minutes.
But it's great.
I think the difference this season as well, Claudio, is when they do, like Sheffield United did as well, when they're pumping balls in, Rushworth's picking them out like apples off a tree. Yeah. He must have taken 3, not routine crosses, but he had to move his feet quickly to get to them. Takes all the pressure off the backs when he's there.
Yeah, the thing is as well, Ian, that's like he's back to like an old school goalkeeper, isn't he? He actually catches the ball, and that's a great thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I think he's a big addition.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to have. If you're going to be successful, you've got to have a top quality goalkeeper, and we've certainly got one. And I think our number one priority maybe in January is to try and get him. But of course, obviously, the better he gets, the price goes up, doesn't it? And
Brighton will have a price in mind already, won't they?
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't like to think he'd want to go back there and sit on the bench, would he? Because he wouldn't. I think all indications are that he wants to stay with us, doesn't he? He likes it there.
The problem with keepers, you get little opportunity to play. That's the problem. If you're an outfield player, you might get 10, 15 minutes every game, and you feel like you got some worth. When you're a goalkeeper, you're just sitting there, game in, game out. Look at Ben Wilson. He hardly plays. I bet he'd sooner want to play, surely, if he gets the opportunity.
And Dovin, of course, is going to probably struggle to get back in.
That's
the way it's going.
Shall I read more comments again?
Yeah, let me just remind you, in case anybody missed it, because we did have technical issues at the start of the show. We have got a competition running tonight. That's the player I want to know who he is, please. Answers in the comments, and we'll put you into the hats for try and win a Sky Blue Fans TV mug. That's who we're after. It looks like the old Peugeot, the old Talbot kit. So that's a bit of a clue from the era. Okay. Right, more comments then, Claudio?
Yes, more comments indeed. Quite a few. I'll put some on the screen and some I won't because it's easier quickly to read them. Rock the Casbah. Change my glasses. What a great day out. One of the best, easy by far. Mason-Clarke's the hero of the team. What an atmosphere on the coach. Everybody's singing all the way back to Coventry. The Sky Blue Tavern coaches were great. That's good to hear. Pagagon says, as a team playing for throw-ins and corners, we done well. Yeah, I've got some stats on that in a minute. We'll talk about that and Mark Robbins and his salty comments.
Yeah.
We've got Assassin's United, a large fellow was hammering lamps all game. Frank's smile at the entering was priceless. Mason-Clarke has a habit for the spectacular, fantastic goal. Apparently he's fine today, apart from a nice bruise. That's from Assassin's United.
That's nice to know.
Ralph Wiggins says, the ref is always rubbish, but very consistent. PUSB, Sims is getting better all the time. Nick Wong Sam 27, Donkey, Matty Grimes is the man. Suggests we insert his name into the Michael Doyle song, He Never Gives the Ball Away. That's true. Sims' flick on was sublime. He had 2 Stoke players pulling him around, but still won the header. That's from James Hollyoak. Wayne Littlewood, great 3 points. The Silver was great, right in his usual self. Currently, really disappointed with him.
Congratulations, Wayne, by the way, on your marathon run.
Assassins United Stoke fans was pathetic, just booed, no encouragement, just like the old bad days at the Rico. Because somebody was saying that didn't matter what was happening on the pitch, they just kept booing everything.
I'm not sure what they were doing. They were just booing for some. So I don't know what was going on, but there's a lot of booing going on. I don't know why, but
they just like a good boo, don't they?
Yeah.
Have they got a player with a name that could sound like a boo? Because sometimes you hear on the TV and you think, is that a boo?
Yeah.
And you realise that they're calling the name.
That could be the reason. I don't know. I'd have to check. I could check the team sheet, but could well be.
David Granigan, what an away day yesterday. Was I to think if Wright was on, it would have been a lot more comfortable. Hopefully, we will come back better this time. Haji, I won't read the second bit. Needs dropping. Offers no think whatsoever. Sims done more than him in 2 minutes. Mark Turnbull, hi panel, hi all. What is the position on field? Would you like City to add after Christmas? And should anyone leave? We'll cover that a bit later, I think. Mark Rainbow says it was a long one here. I'll read these two out. Because when Wayne Littlewood started to believe, you got to read it. Starting to believe now this is happening. I do think it's time to invest in a striker in January. Sadly, we have two who blow hot and cold too much. Mark Rainbow. Watching the game yesterday had so many echoes of the past. Changing a winning team, setting out not to lose, accepting the draw is okay, and playing to protect for the last 20 minutes. It's a mindset. I think the majority of us have this mindset too. A draw would have been good enough. This is the biggest change Frank has made. Good enough is not good enough anymore. Sorry for coming over all Nicholas James. Yeah, why try and draw when you know you can win it? It's simple as that, really. It's a waste, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you live in France, says Gavs Legrand? Ian?
Not far from Limoges in the Vienne.
Wow. Might be coming over to see you.
JH Audits. Is it me, or did Mark Robins seem very salty yesterday in his interview? And great to have Claudio back on comments. Ha! I don't know, after tonight's performance of
getting back off again.
Yes. Craig Tully, Sorba Thomas should have been sent off for a foul on Tats. It was terrible. Knee high. Took his knee out.
The bad one.
BTA went down too easy. That's what one of the comments says there from Cov Coleman. Mick Kelly watched Mark Robbins' interview pre-match. Lots of positive vibes about Cov. Then post-match made out we hoof it team with a long throw, plus insinuated that it was an intentional to hurt their keeper.
Yeah, that's absolutely rubbish because we were behind that goal and he had every right to go for that ball and there's no intention to hurt the keeper.
There's a lot of comments about Mark Robbins in his comments. Stoke fans were awful, terrible support considering they were second in the table. They turned up one big mistake. Thought we'd roll over for them like Bristol. Mark Patman, evening guys. What a fantastic win on Saturday. And with Redoni coming back for West Bromwich Albion game, my 12-1 at the start of the season, I presume he's saying he's looking good.
Very good.
Lee Moray, I thought we made lots of chances. Just when Haji got the ball, he gave it away or held on to the ball too long, lost it, or never played the right ball, etc. Clarke or Asante or Saka, it was very lazy, no tracking back. It's interesting because it's a lot of fans are thinking the same thing now. It's not, we can't all be wrong, surely.
No.
Jim Smits, mystery on Sims. When he's come on, he's delivered every single time this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Mark Rainbow. I was going to say I felt Haji was dropping deep to support the midfield. I was wrong. According to the stats, he only had 24 touches in the game and made no tackles. Blimey. I mean, he didn't make any more tackles than me, and I wasn't even playing. It's ridiculous. Paul Stratton, I think Haji has gone missing in games that are very physical. He has been very poor since the last break. He is an international footballer, so confidence should not be an issue. Kevin Quinn agrees. He thought it was Haji's worst game. There's absolutely loads of comments about Haji Wright, basically.
None of them positive, I don't think, are they?
I've not seen one positive comment about him, which is, it's interesting, isn't it? Really.
Well,
I suppose the one thing I just want to offer some positive spin is, has he been asked by Lampard not to track back, i.e. stay up that end of the pitch regardless? So is he following instructions? Because just on the flip side, that he keeps on getting picked, and if he wasn't doing what Frank wanted, would he keep on getting picked? So that implies that maybe he is doing what he's been told. It's just not what we want to say.
Yeah. Well, possibly, we don't know, but I don't have very much. I thought every player will want to be seen as putting effort in and running down, chasing down players. I mean, even Asante's doing that now, isn't he? I mean, before he wasn't, but this season he is. He's doing, he's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, Asante? He chases and tracks players back all the time. And he wasn't doing that last year, but he's doing it this year. So fans are not stupid. They like to see players put effort in, don't they? They like like to be seen as earning your wages, if you like. And end of the day, Haji's been below power. As simple as that. He's not been performing. And for me, obviously, the next game we've got to look at, maybe does he play Sims from the start and leave Haji on the bench? I don't know.
When was it first mooted that Leeds were interested in him?
Probably about a month or so ago, wasn't it?
Was it that long? I'm not sure.
I think it was. That's why I asked the question, because it sort of coincided with his dip in form.
Yeah, possibly he's heard that. Well, you never know. He might be able to do some sort of deal in January. Release, I don't know.
Well, on the positive side, it's not really affected anything. We only lost one game, so it's we've got through it. And if he comes out the other side, international break, and starts performing, happy days. So you can say we've got a decent player back, which is the positive thing about it, isn't it?
Yeah, scored 8 league goals. So.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's down to Frank to decide who he starts, and if he's happy with him, so be it. But it's just a mystery why he's dropped off.
Yeah, it is concerning. We all know Haji Wright's a good player, and we know how good he is. That's why we're all disappointed, because we know what he can do on his day. He can be a handful, can't he? And when people are not doing it, you got to ask the question why. And we don't know really why. There might be something behind the scenes that's going on in his life that we don't know about. So, we will never know that, will we? So, let's hopefully we can he can get back to form as quick as possible. And
I watched Kevin Kyle for 2 seasons.
That's a name. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, so Haji for me is all right.
Well, that's it. With some of what we've seen, I mean, we're top of the league, aren't we? This is nitpicking to the finest degree, isn't it? Because we have seen much worse.
Yeah,
trying to be
absolutely.
humble. Can you imagine what it'd be like if they're all firing? Put it that way.
Yeah,
we might score some goals. Yeah,
even more goals.
On his day, Haji Wright's a handful for any defenders, and we all know that. But
for some reason he hasn't hit form in the last 5 games. That's down to Frank Lampard and the staff to sort it out, I think.
Yeah,
and if he keeps picking him, he obviously feels like he can do it. So this is the thing, isn't it? So when he's playing, just get behind him. Simple as that.
Listen, you can't argue with the manager. The manager picks the team at the end of the day, and that's it. And
I can remember Dion Dublin going 10 games without scoring a goal, and at the end of the season, his average was a goal every 2 games. So
every striker has it, don't they? Every striker.
Alan Shearer didn't score for a year for England, if you remember, and he kept playing him. Well, that's only about 10 games, probably, but you know what I mean. But at the time in '96, there was a lot of good English strikers to pick from. Not like now. But it's. I think there's other players we need to release before we release Haji Wright, put it that way, if we want to bring players in. Because that's what it's all down to now, isn't it? We can't just simply bring players in, because you can name 25 in that squad. So there's other players would be on my list before we got rid of Haji Wright, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and me as well.
Who we've not seen at all this season, put it that way.
No, right. There is a competition going on. Anybody wants to join in? We want to know who that player is, please. Vicky's writing down all the answers as they come in on the comments. You've got to go back to sort of the 80s. That's a clue with the kit, the old Talbot kit. So it's one for the older generation, if you like. So not many of you youngsters, if you're watching, would probably know him. You have to ask your parents. I want to know who that is.
I didn't know who it was.
No, that's true, Vic. No, yeah, well,
I'm a youngster.
Right. Yeah, the class as a youngster, Vic.
I'm fighting it.
Yeah, absolutely. Claudia, we got some more comments to go through, or?
Yeah, have we got some more comments? We've got plenty.
Yeah.
I'll read a handful.
Go on, then.
There's one from Mark Rainbow. Did anyone else think for all the plaudits Johansson gets other than shot stopping was less than ordinary? Fran Hunter says, Stoke fans complain about Cov fans for an obvious misunderstanding about the minute silence is a bit rich. Was it a misunderstanding when some of their fans booed EMC? Is he being carried off?
Point.
Yeah.
Assassin United, the trouble is we have so many favourite players playing well this season. I can't make my mind up who's my favourite. Rushworth is definitely the unsung hero.
Yeah.
Never fall in love with a lone player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Rob 58 UK said, with all due respect, I would rather Lampard picks our team rather than you lot. So if he feels Rice is the right option, then that's good enough for me. You lot.
Yes. You lot. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exactly. 100%. Frank's the manager. He picks the team. We can't argue with Frank.
The thing is, he picked the same team we picked on Thursday. So there you go. So we can't be that daft. Mandeep Singh. Can't believe how fickle our fans are. Be consistent. Only 4 weeks ago, the same fans were worried the team may take him off us. He is off form. Happens to all strikers. There seems to be issues on Facebook all night, I think. So,
yeah. Don't know what.
Stevenson says, is Haji off the pace or is he doing a job the gaffer has given him? BTA was quite quiet as well versus Stoke, but still working hard off the ball. And there's a comment here from you're getting some pats on the back as well, Vicky, for your positivity. But you didn't watch it, you see.
As always.
Says you were at Dancing on Ice, weren't you? So you had a different perspective.
Disney on Ice.
Disney on Ice. Yes. Mark Rainbow just checked on Foot Mob. Ellis wasn't credited with the assist on EMC's goal. Bit harsh. So who was then?
Should have been.
No, but there's been a few this season where it's been him and he hasn't got it. I think he's got like 2 assists, but he's definitely contributed to more goals than that this season. So I don't know who decides that, but anyway.
He flicked it on.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Paul Stratton, after seeing Stoke yesterday, they scored 8 goals against Bristol and Oxford. They must have been crap. I know this league is just a mystery, isn't it? There's only us who have been consistent the whole way through.
Yeah.
You know, there's bear with. Trevor Merriman says it was nice to see Grimes and Kelly at the Memorial Park Remembrance Service today at the in Coventry.
Yes, we have got some pictures of that. Now you're talking about that, Claudia. Grimes was there. Meeting the
Is that Liam Kelly?
Well, there's Grimes is there. I don't know.
Kelly was there as well.
Kelly was there as well. I've seen photos.
But he met some of the fans there at the stadium at the Memorial Park. So yeah, it was nice to. Of course, it was there we were on Saturday with our memorial remembrance. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Carry on.
Leave Nick James alone. It's nice to have an enthusiastic Cov fan with so much negativity around. Jack in the Hat alone did a sterling job on his comments. Also, I thought you'd sign Brooksy up. I know, Mark. The comment about Nick is because Nick writes his huge essays. That's why.
We love the essays, though, don't we?
Yeah, I'm the one normally reading them out, though. Mark says, well, I've got an issue with this. Mark says, all strikers go through dry patches. Even Haaland had a dry patch. Right, I'm going through a dry patch because I've not seen us win away from home in ages. Yeah, I've been banned.
Yeah. So, indefinite.
Indefinite, yeah. So talking about who should leave in January, would love your Joel Labatier. Can't even say his name now.
Labatier. Hit the road.
Should you say Latty to hit the road? Glad he's not had a touch this year. Maybe Bidwell too. Not sure though. Mark Rainbow says, I'm going to say something positive about Haji and BTA. When Johansson had the ball, they were shutting down their back line. They had to go long, mostly to the touchline. Johansson's kicking was bobbins. There you go. Should we discuss Mark Robins' comments?
Yeah, let's move on to Mark Robins then, because obviously after the match, Frank was obviously delighted with the win. But Mark Robins wasn't quite as delighted. Have you got the recording of that, Claudio, that we can listen to?
Oh, I wish I'd prepared myself properly for this.
Because we did have the video, but the video wouldn't go up on screen, so we couldn't do it. But I've got it here. If you want to hold on, see if you can hear this.
Feels like your team competed again. Wait.
You got it?
After league losers today.
Well, you saw yourself. We've been in the game all the time. I think they played for corners, long throws. They play a different way, and they put you under pressure that way. You know, I think that they've seen that they can get results playing that way with the players that they have. I think that from my perspective, I thought we were not under too much pressure from them. I thought we were okay without creating too many opportunities. There wasn't too many clear-cut chances, but you'd expect that as well. It was nip and tuck. But to concede a goal, or the way that we conceded, was pretty disappointing.
12 points from 6 games in between the 2 international breaks. What do you make of that?
It's been good now. I think we've been okay. I think we've done pretty well. I thought to be fair today, I thought we came up a little bit short in a few areas that have ended up costing us the game. That's it. It's very tight, but I've got to say I've got to be proud of them because they've given everything. They keep giving everything.
Biggest crowd of the season today. What do you make of the atmosphere out there?
It was noisy. It was good. You know, I just think that in these games, you really want to come out on the right side of the result. We just didn't manage that today. But you've got to say we've come a long way because that performance wasn't too bad. We had the better chances. In my view, we had the better chances. They had corners, they had long throw-ins, and they converted one that we didn't pick up from. You know, I think that we were just off it. We weren't sharp enough in that front end, and that was the difference.
Well, I'm sorry, Mark, but I can't remember many chances that you had. And I certainly can't remember the better chances you had. You might have had one, but at the end of the day, that's a load of rubbish, a load of malarkey. What you're speaking there, because we're not a long. We all know we're not a long ball. We're not a long ball or throwing type of team, are we? We play football. He should know that. He should know that more than anyone because he knows he bought most of them players. So for him to come out and say things like that is very surprising because I didn't expect that. And I'm a bit disappointed of some of the comments. What do you make of the comments, Ian? You're disappointed, weren't you?
I lost a lot of respect for Mark Robins yesterday. I couldn't believe what he was saying. You could have said it was a tight game, you know, not much in it. You know, could have gone either way. Coventry were a good side. We weren't at it quite as much. Disappointed to lose it. But then to start saying that that's the way they play a different way, what does that mean? Are we Wimbledon in the 80s or something? You know, he made it sound as if we were just a long throw hoofball team, which is totally untrue, but also very disrespectful. And the fact that I mean, who gives the throw-ins away? They're defenders. Well, so when we have a chance to put a long throw in, as most teams do these days, why don't we? And we scored from one. It's not our fault. It's bad defending. I just thought he was grouchy, and he didn't need to be disrespectful. I lost a lot of time. We'll always be fond of Mark, but you know, I hope they sink.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised at some of the comments, considering before the game he was very sort of pro-Cov and praising us all and thought we were the best team in the league, we're scoring goals for fun, this, that and the other. For him to come out in the second, you know, after the match and say that, I mean, what did you think, Vicky, when you heard them comments from Mark?
I don't know. I don't know whether it was just me. I don't think I was as bothered as a lot of people. Like, I only listened to him because I saw like it was going mad on Facebook, and I thought, what's he said that's so terrible? So I listened to it, and I just thought, well, he sounds a bit grumpy. He probably was a bit grumpy because that's the second game now where we've like won like really late on in the game, where he probably thinks he's going to get some sort of result. I think like he wrote something nice in the programme, didn't he? In his pre-match, when he's obviously more probably what he genuinely feels as opposed to what he feels in the heat of a moment. It was very positive, and I just think he's not. He manages Stoke now, doesn't he? He's not going to come out and be bigging us up because ultimately he's paid by Stoke now, and it's their fans he's got to keep on side. So he's not going to come out and go. So to me, it just seemed, I don't know. This is a bit of a fuss over nothing, really. But that's just me.
Claudio, were you angry towards?
Not angry. I just don't understand why he said what he said, because he spent 8 seasons with us where if ever we beat somebody or we didn't beat them, he'd always go on about how strong the opposition was in the post-match interview and say, that lot, you know, they're a tough side, they are. You know, that's a great point, or we just fell short against a really strong team. You know, but there was none of that. He was definitely upset. And to say, I've got the stats here, which they actually played more long balls than we did for a start, according to stats. According to the XG, they had more chances of scoring from set plays than we had. So, you know, everything he said is wrong about how he saw the game, basically. You know, you've got a chance of somebody with a long throw. Why wouldn't you use it? In fact, we should have used it when he was here. Milan did it for the first 2 games and he stopped doing it. And we're thinking, maybe he's got a shoulder injury. Is there something wrong? Bobby Thomas can chuck it long as well. Yeah. You know, so we never used it. We hardly ever used it. So I just think it's an odd interview, really. Why don't you just say, as Ian said, it was a tight game, but it was won by a wonder goal. That's all he had to say. You know, and saying we just, on the day, we fell a bit short. And then nobody's upset, and that about covers it, really. But to start saying what he said, like I said, make it sound like Wimbledon, like the only form of attack is just hitting it long, is ridiculous, because we've seen some of the other goals we've scored. It's not all from long football. And then, by the way, it's football. You don't have to play it one way. You know, you're allowed. The idea is you kick the ball around in however you want to kick it around, or throw it around from throw-ins, and you score goals. There's no hard, fast rule saying you're not allowed to kick it long. You're not allowed to take a long throw in. So I don't know what is, you know, it's no different to corners. We all hate short corners, don't we?
I think that's one of the beauties of Frank Lampard, actually, Claudia, because we used to do tippy-tappy stuff around the back and we'd have 15 passes in our own half. And that, you know, you don't come to watch Bobby Thomas kick it to kitchen.
No.
So playing the ball through midfield, since Matt Grimes has come, I think we've been much more on the front foot and getting it out of our half, into their half quicker. And if we get a high press side, we bypass it now because Rushworth has, in the main, pretty good distribution. So we are going to bypass a press by hitting a 30, 40-yard ball to our midfield, to our wide midfielders. Nothing wrong with that.
And like Vicky says, that's twice now we've done him over in the last minute. So, you know, so more power to Frank far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Frank's coming. We all know how Robbins has done, or well he's done for us, and we all appreciate that what he's done. But we move on. We've all got to move on, I suppose, and just forget about it.
I moved on months ago.
I think the team have moved on as well, Claudia, haven't they? Since Robbins,
look at the stats.
We've got better. Look at, you know, you only have to look at the stats. Exactly. The team is much better.
The home form is off the scale. We're better than anybody.
Yeah.
There's probably only 2 or 3 Premier League teams got better home form than us in the last year, you know. And they're the top teams, you know. Our home form is ridiculous. I actually feel, I mean, Miles said it, I can't see us losing at home. I'm kiss of death now. I can't see us losing.
Well done, Claudio. City nil, Baggies 1.
Yeah. But seriously,
you're going to be trouble, Cloud, if that happens now.
Seriously, though, can you see us losing at home to anybody the way we've been performing at home? How we pull it back when we're not playing so well? How we take teams apart when we are playing well? We're doing everything right.
Can we cut him off, Ken?
Yes.
You can't be losing away much either, can you? I mean, that's the thing at the minute. We're just like, the only times we've lost this season is when we can't play a full strength team. Like when we're on it, we're a game for anybody.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I'll happily talk like this at the end of April.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to take a massive collapse not to get promoted now. I'm talking massive because the teams below us aren't doing it, and we are doing it. We're the only ones doing it at the minute.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's have a chat about that. How big was that win? And I just want to chat about the next 3 games and how many. I mean, we all look in batches of games. The next 3 games: West Brom home, Middlesbrough away, Charlton at home.
Win.
Ian, how many points from them 3 games can you see us get? 7.
7 points. Yeah, I think we'll have too much for Charlton. They're very good defensively, but I think we'll break them down. West Brom, so long as we look after Mickey Johnston, who's dangerous. I think, you know, if Matty or somebody can, or Vic can mark him out, we'll be okay. If he plays wide, fullbacks will have him. And I think we'll go up to Middlesbrough, and I think we can get a point up there.
Yeah. I do. I think we're a better team than Middlesbrough. I really do. But, you know, as you know, there's no easy games in this league, and we all know, we all keep saying that, and there isn't. But I haven't yet seen a team to be scared of. Vicky, how many points do you reckon out of them 3 games?
9.
Oh, 3 wins.
We won it now.
Why not? Why not?
I'll tell you what, though, I was thinking about, you know, when we were down the what pub did we go to for that show?
Shepherd.
That pub, the Shepherd, and we were discussing what we thought for the next 6 games and the points.
Yeah.
I said 14 because I said that we would draw 2, but actually because we lost 1 but won all the rest, we actually got 15 points. So, I mean, this is crazy, isn't it? Like we just keep on winning. So why I'm just believing that.
Because I haven't seen a team yet. I watched a lot of the highlights and stuff, and I haven't seen a team yet that I'm scared of, really. No. Claudio, are you going for 3 wins?
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if we get less than 7 points.
Yeah.
I really would at the minute, because Middlesbrough, although they're up there, I watched them against Blues and sort of Wrexham. The game that was on telly, there's one before that, and I was watching it. I think me and Vicky says we were watching the game thinking, how are they top? They were top at the time, thinking, how are they top? Because they didn't really create a lot.
I think it's when they played Stoke. They played Stoke, didn't they? And so it was 2 top 6 teams, and we were saying, weren't we? How are these 2 teams like at the top?
Yeah, I'm not.
Middlesbrough don't like us anyway. We've got a good record against Middlesbrough. They don't like us, so that's another positive. So,
well, what we've created inadvertently is fear, basically. Yeah. And I said this a few weeks back, where when you start scoring loads of goals, the teams who set up against you are scared before you even kick off. Like we were against Leeds on 2 occasions last season where we didn't come out at all, let them have the ball. I feel we're getting shown so much respect. At the end of the day, Robbins did everything to try and prevent us to score yesterday. So his game plan almost worked. His game plan was not to lose that match. He did it with us in the past. We know that. And we managed to find a way to win. To me, that was similar to us going away at Burnley last year and losing a narrow loss, whatever.
Yeah.
You're competing, but you're not really trying to win it, which is totally different. And so I think teams will play us and think we've got to watch these lads, because although we think Haji is not on fire, the chances are there's been one game where he will hit 3 goals and be Superman again, and they're going to fear us because they've seen enough footage to fear us, basically. So I think, West Brom, we go at them 4-3-3. Just do it I'd want to see it every game. 4-3-3, go at every team. And you got 2 guys on the wing, Sakamoto, EMC, if they're fit and they're on fire, there's nobody better, I think, out wide. We've got Rodoni to come back.
Well, that was my next question.
That's a £30 million player coming back. That is.
Where do you put Rodoni in instead? Who are you going to drop then, Claudio, for Rodoni?
Oh, why me?
I'll ask everybody, but I'm going to ask you first.
Well, if you're playing Haji Wright, the only player you can drop is Asante.
Right.
That's it. Or Torp. Take your pick. So they're the 2. I can't see who else. You don't want to start putting players out of position. There's no need. And if Sakamoto's doing what he's doing, EMC does what he does, the only player who could come a cropper is Asante, because Frank likes to play right up front. But Rodoni has to come when he's fully fit. He needs to play. He can't go from being a superstar player from last season to not wanting to play, and that's just ridiculous. And he'll score goals as well. That's the thing. Yeah. And he creates goals as well. So, and he's a better player.
Yeah. I've got to agree with you. I don't normally agree with you, but I've got to agree with you. Vicky?
Yeah. I mean, that was the point. Claudio's point there about the fear was actually what I was trying to say at the beginning when we went all funny and we were talking about with Ian about like our goal threat, and so that's definitely a thing. But I think unfortunately Asante probably is the one that's going to suffer when Rodoni's back.
What, the league's top goal scorer?
Well, that's the trouble, isn't it? But unless you start moving people around into natural positions, that's the obvious choice. But the advantage of that is that Asante can play in a few different positions. So then you've got a situation where if a player's a bit off it, or they're not having a good game, or they've got a niggle, so that maybe Frank doesn't want to play them. You've got options, then, haven't you? Because Asante could cover for Sakamoto. You've got those players can move around there. There's options, and actually, considering we've been worried about depth a lot this season, that gives us some exciting options that there's people on the bench then that can come on and actually make a difference, and that's exciting. So it can only be a positive, and whilst it's going to be a shame because Asante really deserves his starting place at the moment for what he's done at the beginning of the season, you can't leave Rodoni on the bench, and so that's the natural swap, isn't it, unfortunately?
Yeah, I tend to agree again. Ian? Asante,
I think Rodoni will be, all being well, he'll be on the bench against West Brom. I don't think you don't just bring him straight in.
No, I think
probably get 20 minutes, half hour, and anything can happen. Haji might come back with a knock. Asante might have a pull. Victor might hurt his ankle again. There's all sorts of things that can happen. So I don't think you say, a bit like Vicky said, I don't think you say, well, we'll bring Rodoni in and drop X, Y, Z, because there'll be a gap somewhere. Haji's only one booking off a suspension, isn't he?
Yeah, he got booked again on Saturday, didn't he?
So there will be slots appearing. Sakamoto, he's on fire at the moment, but he went through a little period of 2 or 3 games where he just looked out of gas. So we will sort it. Frank will sort it. But if, in my first 11, Rodoni would always play, but I don't think he'll be fully fit till certainly after the Middlesbrough game.
What's nice, Ian, is that we're in a position now where we've got a bit of a comfort zone where you can actually bring him in gradually, can't you? We don't have to rush him back.
Yeah.
And we're doing this.
The last thing we want is Rodoni to break down.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing all this without Rodoni.
Yes.
So that's a massive plus. So it's almost like we can have this massive casket on the side of the pitch and he just appears like Superman. Look what else we've got in the locker. This is...
Here's one I prepared earlier.
Yeah, this is, look, we give you a chance. Our best player's been injured virtually all season. He's back to finish the job off. You know, it's... I'm so looking forward to the next game. Why we got international break, I don't know.
I mean, but the last two have been good for us because we've gone into the break in a positive mood, haven't we? And we've been top of the league, so it's been really good, you know. And it's just nice
as a Cov fan. We've never had it like this.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, it's you know, even I mean, I can't remember I was born, but I was only 2 when we got promoted. But you know, it's like Miles says, this wonderful feeling if we get promoted. And I said last night, I don't want to feel this anymore. Once we get promoted, I just don't want to have to be promoted again. I just want to stay there. We don't want to, you know, go through it all again, do we?
I think we should ban the P word.
Yeah. I think, and I'll tell you what's happening now is a lot of us are believing it. And when we turn up and get behind the team, I think it helps because it's almost like, you know, in the past, you sort of jokingly sing the songs, don't you? You know, we're on the way to the Premier League, we're on the way. But I think we actually mean it now. And it shows in the performances.
You know,
give it a bit extra.
We get to Christmas time, and that's a lot of people judge teams at Christmas time because you've sort of played everybody once by then, haven't you? And we're there.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you. I'm not even going to mention the P word. I'm not until January, February. And if we've avoided serious injuries and suspensions, and we're still in the top 3, I'll begin to think we've got a chance.
I'd like to think also that Doug would back Frank in the transfer market in January. But we don't want to upset the brilliant team spirit we've got. I look at those City Unseen videos, and they're just like a bunch of school kids having fun. They're like mates. They're like your Sunday league mates, aren't they? Yeah.
And I think that's worth 10 points a season. And we don't want a big time Charlie coming in, who's going to get 30, 35 grand a week, upset the apple cart.
Yeah,
you know, I'd be happy if he brought in somebody like if he's fit, Jayden Dans, the young lad from Liverpool, you know, who is electric and brilliant, but he's had a bad injury. Now, if he came in and Slot said, "Look, give him half a dozen games. I want you to look after him." He would be a godsend, you know, to have somebody like that off the bench. Remember Richie Partridge when he came?
Yes.
Somebody like that fits in, feels comfortable, and he's not a big time Charlie.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I noticed as well. I feel that Frank Lampard is your modern manager. I'll compare him to Mark Robins because Mark Robins was possibly is one of the last of the old generation. Frank Lampard would be on the terraces, I think, with all the girls and boys behind the goal. He's sort of part of that Brit-pop style of footballer that came in the 90s. You know what I mean? He came in the 90s and sort of understands the modern footballer more, I think, where Rob Gurney was taking the mick out of Radoni's shoes and, you know, Frank was like having a laugh with him. You know, it's just the whole thing was brilliant, the interview. I think he just understands that kind of modern player now. And I think it's all part of the makeup of what we've got behind the scenes. I think it just fits nicely.
Did you hear the little barb in Frank's comment? He said, "I've played with players who dress like that." He said, "But they've got to deliver. And when they deliver, you put up with them. But if he turns up looking like that and he doesn't deliver, that's when we've got a problem." Exactly. And I thought that was a lovely little pat on the head.
Yeah,
it's like on Sunday morning football when somebody turned up with Predators and you're thinking, why are you wearing Predators? Give them to somebody else who can play football.
all the gear, no idea.
There's plenty of them about. Yeah, that's right. Comments then, Claudio. Shall we catch up with some?
Yes. Mark Patman says Claudio is right. We are fantastic at home. We are fantastic at home.
That one up from? Did you write that yourself?
We are top of the league. This happened to be the first one I looked at. Trevor Merriman, odds on West Brom will win now. Thanks, Claudio. Shut Claudio up, says Rich T. Well, Lampard, we can pass it short, long, or go direct. Robin's bemoaning our long throws. He signed Milan, yet rarely used him. Yes, we all agree, Claudio. What's that? Yes, we all agree Claudio is banned. If we get 7 or 9 points from the next 3 games, we are doing great. Then we can do the Preston hoodoo once and for all, says Glenn Watkin. Glenn says, then I'll believe we can win at Preston. Mark Cunningham, well, Ian said we find a way to win. I hope Robbins puts a bit of vinegar on his salty chip batch. It's Mark Cunningham. 9 points, we can beat any team, says James Hollyoak. Assassin United, no, Claudio can keep coming to the home games as we win. Martin Mick Davenport, 48 years supporting Coventry. I'm not getting my hopes up yet. Automatically expect them to slump. Claudio is under house arrest, according to Mick Kelly, for away games. Speaking to a Stoke fan outside the ground, he said Cov was the best team he saw at Stoke this season. Well, that's from Big Pete. I've seen that on a lot of blogs from Stoke fans saying we just seem too strong. It's so funny, isn't it, when it's somebody else watching your team? It's interesting. Mark Rainbow, there's only one team not to have got the same or more points than us in the last 6 games. That's Derby. We both have won 5 and lost 1. No other team can match or better that record. This is what we said last week, didn't we? They kept saying we're coming up against a form team, yet our form was better than everybody else's, yet we don't. They're ignoring us. It's weird. We even got mentioned on BBC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently we got mentioned last night on Sky as well with I can't remember who was playing, but apparently we got mentioned on that as well. I saw on social media earlier.
Well, I've noticed Dion Dublin being nice about us now as well. So he's probably preparing himself to do commentary, isn't he, when we play?
Yeah.
Mark Rainbow, I think I'm coming around to Doug's POV on loans. They are expensive with nothing to show for at the end of the season. Pay a couple of million to rent a player seems a bit counterproductive. Could I say Thomas and Kitchen are a great partnership now? This is from Assassins United. Thomas probably the best centre half in the league. Remember, Kitchen had only played 3 games when Frank took over. He banged down the door. That's a good point about Liam, because we signed him for $4.5 million, and the first thing I remember us saying on the show is, why is he sat on the bench?
Yeah.
If you paid that sort of money for him, yet you wouldn't play him.
Could say the same about Wolfie.
Yeah, but he'd be fine. I think that's just, I'd struggle. When I say I'd struggle, of course I'd struggle. But I mean, if you got a completely different back line, to me, that was a Carabao Cup team, wasn't it? Basically. It's not a team, you wouldn't expect to see that ever on a Saturday unless there was so many injuries like what happened against Wrexham. Fran Hunter, Claudia, if we lose at home to the Baggies now, you'll be lucky if you're not banned from watching games on a dodgy Fire Stick. Who says it's dodgy? I do nothing dodgy. All right, back to you, Ken.
Okay, well, we're just going to go through a few bits. I'll just remind you of the competition, by the way. We're after the name of that player. Get your entries in on the comments, please. From the 80s, he is, with the old Talbot kit on. Also, got a few pictures from. There's Jack with the hat. This is from Saturday at Stoke and his dad. And
EFL Championship highlights. That's on the main video on the reel.
Is it? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
that's good. Now here is some stats for you, isn't it, Claudio?
Yeah, it's May 2017, relegated League 2, 37 goals scored all season. November 2025, top of the league, 39 goals scored in 14 games. We've been trying to work out the last time, this is a difficult question, the last time us being in the top 6, now they have to be in the top 6, have beaten another top 6 side away from home. And so we had all sorts of answers which aren't right, because we were either outside the top 6, then we went into the top 6 when we won. Obviously, I got Jim Brown on the case in the end, because after 4 hours last night of going through loads of statistics.
Tranmere Rovers?
No, I had to give up at the end. So this is what I got from Jim Brown. So I'm ploughing through the records, he says.
Ploughing.
So he's ploughing through the records.
Okay.
So Forest 1990, we beat them 4-2 away, and Norwich 1989 was a 2-1. So we're both in the top 6 at the time. But the most recent he can find is that famous victory at Blackburn 92-93, the 5-2 win. We were 6th and they were 4th. And had they'd won, Blackburn would have gone top of the league. And all the talk was about Blackburn that night on the BBC Radio 5, or whatever it was called in those days. And Mickey Quinn, for those of us who were there, got the hat-trick, didn't he, that night?
Is that the game that Lee Hurst hit one into the top corner from outside the box?
Exactly. So we reckon, and it doesn't happen a lot, because you've got to think about it. We have to be in the top 6, which, let's face it, in our whole existence didn't happen that often. Then you have to play a team who's in the top 6, and it has to be away. So the chances of
we have to win away.
And you have to win away. You know,
the Claudio can't be there, obviously.
Yes. And prior to that, I think something like 1969 was another occasion when we beat Derby. It doesn't happen very often, because we thought Wickham, but Wickham were top and we were 8th in that season. The season ended in COVID. Wickham, we had. And what's interesting, when we beat Wickham in late December, we'd lost 3 games up until then, and we didn't lose another game until, well, that was it. The season ended, didn't it, because of COVID. And I think there was another occasion Vicky spotted Burton, and we thought, yes, that's it, 2015, Burton away. And then Rich Overson contacted me to say, hang on a minute, the league table the day after changed, so somebody must have played before we played Burton, and then we dropped out the top 6, and we were like 7th. So I know this is what we do, you see, Ian. You know, I mean, while you like have your turkey dinners,
you don't waste your evenings, do you?
Oh well, you know. So no doubt, Jim will come back to me and say, "Actually, I found another one." But yeah.
You know, as well, though, Claudio, that season, like the Burton season that we were looking at, is actually like a reason why we have to temper our enthusiasm a little bit, because I hadn't remembered quite how bad that went that season. We were like top 6 until about the 1st of March, and then just completely fell away and didn't even end up in like playoffs or anything. So, I mean, it just shows, doesn't it, how you think you're going somewhere, and then we've had a bad habit of throwing these things away, haven't we? So, yeah.
But I just think we're winning games that top teams win. This season. We've seen
that's
other
the
teams
difference, isn't it? It feels different, doesn't it? It just feels different.
I know we've scored a lot of goals and Burnley didn't, but we've got a feel about Burnley about us, where we're being a bit, you know, we're hard to break down. There's not many goals from open play. There's 3 in one match and 2 in another. That's it from open play, and it's 15 games gone now.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Only 5 goals from open play, and 3 of those were in one match.
So
they were preventable as well. Possibly. So it's incredible what we're doing. Yeah, absolutely incredible. We should just get behind them. It's just fantastic. As Assassin United says, no one's mentioned Grimes, and I think that's the way he likes it. Such an unassuming individual who's priceless for us. Tell you what, he's got a dry sense of humour as well. I like him. Really do like him.
I've seen it on some of the videos. Great.
Yeah, just so reality says the only stat you need on Lampard is this: with averages around 2 points per game since he came in, which across the season gets you promoted 90% of the time. And also, just our reality, we said this last week, if he comes in now, like if we play like he did when he came in, we're getting promoted anyway. Yeah, if we replicate what we did last season, we're there, basically.
Yeah. Fantastic. Happy retirement.
Finger wagging time, Cardellaione.
Just want to wish happy retirement to John Feeney. Now, John was a steward at Highfield Road when I worked at Highfield Road, and he's still at the CBS, but he's retiring. I believe he's retiring at the end of the year. So, happy retirement, John. So I'm sure you've seen a few ups and downs over the years. Claudio.
Elephant Head, who is he?
Yeah, who's that?
Some great graphics, though. It's funny if anyone's seen it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Really good.
Yeah, and really accurate as well. They're very, very look like each other. I mean, it does look like you, Claudio. Although your hair's not so grey on that picture.
No, it's obviously pre. Yeah.
Pre-1980.
Okay, the Old Shepherds have got a Christmas 80s party, fancy dress, get all your stuff out your wardrobe, Claudio. You'll be down there, won't you, DJ Molesy?
Yeah. If anybody wants to hire some 80s gear off me, I've still got it.
Saturday, 20th of December, 7:30 till 8. So that should be a good one. And also, this we're promoting this as well at the moment. These two chaps are running from Millwall football ground to the CBS in January. Jack and Matty, and they're supporting the great charity Fraser, and it's all very good charity. There's a lot going on. I've done a couple of DJ jobs for them down there at the Walsgrove Club, and it's a really good charity that they're running for, and the more money the better. I said they're running all the way from Millwall to the CBS, and that's in January, 17th of January, I believe. We play Millwall, and they're going to be the finish line is going to be at the CBS, so be a lot of people down there to see them running back and coming across the finish line, so that'll be good. Also, home game parking from Big Parking, coventryparking.co.uk if you want to get your car parked very safely for the home matches. And coach away travel is also big travel. CCFCtravel.co.uk. We can provide all the coach travel for all the away games. Got Middlesbrough game coming up shortly as well, so that'll be good. Just book CCFCtravel.co.uk and go and book your coach with them. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Anybody who's watching there's plenty of people watching. Don't forget to give the like and subscribe, please. It's all good for the. It's all good for the. It's all good for the show. I was going to put this on as well, Claudia. Tell us about this because this has gone down very well with Brian Richardson.
Yeah, well, it's certainly divided opinion, that's for sure. I'd say that. And of course, we're doing part 2 on Tuesday. So it's all booked in, ready to do. And we're going to talk about Dion Dublin, his departure, the relegation, of course. The Moroccans, will bring up them, and any other bits and pieces we can think of. He's been, I think, whether you think he's been honest is one thing. I think he's been fairly open. And so some people, you just won't change opinions anyway. You have an opinion of somebody and that's it. So it should be interesting, but I don't think the council will come out of it very well, that's for sure.
What was your opinion of Brian Richardson, Ian?
I met him when my lad was mascot against Blackburn on the ice when we won 5-0.
Oh, yes.
Charming bloke, very nice, very down to earth. But he always had this, he always had this air about him that he knew best. Whenever I saw him interviewing, and I think Claudio's session with him last week, whenever it was so enlightening, because as he gets older, he's 82 now, isn't he, Claudio, I think?
Yeah.
He's obviously a little freer with his words. Doesn't really matter as much as it used to. Memory's not quite as sharp as it was, so he lets a few things out. And when he said, so what happened to the 66 million then? Yeah, I thought that was very, very revealing. So I think he was well-intentioned. I couldn't say the same about Jeffrey Robinson, but I think he was well-intentioned, and it just all went a bit the shape of the pear. And I wouldn't be too harsh on him. I don't know how you found him, Claudio.
I thought it was fine. I mean, I wrote so many letters to him when he was in charge. He got
sent your season ticket back as well.
I know. But
did he reply to you?
He did, yeah. I've been looking for it today. That's why I was looking for the letter and found that newspaper from 1921. So that's going to make an appearance on Thursday. We've got a match report there, Coventry City from 1921. I just thought it was funny when I read it.
You're the only one to remember there. I can't get any.
Well, that's right. I remember it, yeah. And it said playing our rivals. So it's interesting who they called our rivals 104 years ago. So I'll reveal that on Thursday. But I found all sorts of stuff. I found the original tickets from the first all-seater stadium game against Man United. Yeah, when we unused tickets. I don't know why they're unused, but they've and they were filled in from obviously a travel agent, because you remember, Ian, you had to go to the travel agent to get your ticket instead of going to the ticket office. And I think it was Harry. Yeah, they're selling tickets, match day tickets. You couldn't buy a ticket on the day of the game, but they're selling them all around the county. So you could go to Lumpolly in Coventry or Leamington or Co-op Travel, Harry Shaw, their office in town, and you could go and get a ticket. But I could never understand how they used to do it, because they used to manually write the seat, block, and everything else on the ticket. So they put blockhead row 9, seat 6, or row out seat 6 or something. So I couldn't understand how they managed that. Weird, anyway. But what was the question? Yes, how did I find him? He was. I thought he was fine. What I do know, and basically McGinnity and Robinson after him, people think he was there for the whole duration of when up until the stadium was built, and he wasn't. And I think this is what people forget. They just think of him because it was his idea in the first place, and it did go wrong. But he wasn't all parties' fault. The fact he explains in the interview that we were never going to lose Highfield Road had the stadium not gone ahead, we'd have still had a ground. It wasn't going to be we weren't going to be homeless or anything like that. That wasn't an issue. But Robinson and McGinnity had no idea running a football club at all. This is what people need to understand. It was far worse. If you think he was bad, what came in afterwards was worse, basically. And he's right about the debt. There's no way, when you think about it, you couldn't be 60 million in debt in those days. We'd have gone out of business, completely out of business. So we don't know where these figures have come from, who'd started it in the first place. But I thought it was fine. And he answered the questions. We've given the questions not so much. We haven't told him the questions. We've told him who we're going to talk about, so he knows. So it makes it flow a bit better, basically. So you don't have to think so hard. So it'd be interesting. I'm intrigued to find out about Dion Dublin, because I've heard Dion Dublin's side of the story. I want to hear his side of the story about how he left.
That would be interesting, because a lot of the fans would like to hear that as well, wouldn't they?
But I thought he was absolutely fine. And you've got to be careful, because you don't want an interview to end after 5 minutes.
No.
It's not an assassination. A character assassination. That's it. It's basically we're trying to build up a history archive of as many interviews and stuff we can do before it's too late. Basically, Jim's 73, I'm 60, so we're going to try and fit in. By the way, nothing's happening. I'm fine. I'm not ill or anything. Neither's Jim. But you know what I mean, Ian? Time is running out, isn't it? So we're trying to get it all in place. So in the future, there's something for people to go back on and look at. And that's what it's all about, basically. So, and like I said last week, even Doug King saw it and he thought it was great. So I couldn't believe that. That was just made my night.
That's nice. I thought it was nice of him. Yeah, say that.
Yeah, it was. We've seen him. I mean, we full time, wasn't he? Looking up, and I said to you, I think he's calling you up. Didn't I? Oh, yes, he is. He's like getting his.
I'm not.
It's after that tenner he lent you.
I knocked Ken out of the way. There was a 5-year-old kid, pushed him down the stairs. I've got to go and see Doug. He wants to see me.
Doug's calling you up, Claudio.
But no, it's nice to hear. It's nice. It's good.
Yeah.
Great. It's
it was nice. Yeah, I quite agree. Okay, right. These are our predictions that we made at the start of the season.
I've got the table here.
Everybody, you've got the table there, have you? Yeah.
Yeah. So currently, obviously, us top and Middlesbrough. So Stoke.
Everybody went for it. Everybody's gone for Ipswich, and they're nowhere to be seen, are they? At the minute.
Hull and Millwall are in the top 6 as well.
Mm.
Slowly catching up with the. Not
We've
with
got a
us,
game
but
in hand as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the only one. I've got us finishing the highest in 3rd, with Jack thinking we finished 4th. So Miles, Coventry's not even in. Miles is top 6. So there you go.
Disgraceful.
Vicky's got 5th. Claudia's got 6th.
I was just checking on the league table in the old days of CFAX and Teletext, and I was seeing if Leicester City were going to be on the 2nd page, but that's 20. They just get in, don't they? Because they're 12th.
Just 12th. Okay.
Yeah, it's magnificent. But I mean, look at that. It's fantastic, isn't it?
That's brilliant.
What's going on at Norwich? 8 straight home defeats from the start of a season.
And they've sacked the manager as well, haven't they?
I played golf with a Bristol City fan who says that right at the beginning of the season, he said, "Thank God Manning's gone."
Really?
He said he was awful, couldn't stand him. Even though they got into the playoffs, he said that his football was awful. It was, sideways, boring, time wasting. And when, of course, we got Norwich at home, and that was dire. Mm-hmm. And I've always liked Norwich because I've lived in East Anglia, and they've always been a good family club, decent football. Ruined them. And Will Still, I predicted, would be gone as well by November, and he's out. So Southampton will be one to watch. Ipswich are on the march.
I still think there's always a team down the lower end will get a bit of a run going. It happens, isn't it? But you can you just can't guess who it is. But you think Southampton, surely, with the players of the squad they've got.
The squad they've got. Yeah.
Derby County have won the last 5 games, haven't they, on the trot?
They're ninth now, aren't they?
They've sneaked it up.
But if you look at the 5th or 6th down to about 17th, there's only 4 points covering them.
Yeah.
So somebody like Southampton or Leicester or Derby, who have a really good run, they'll be up there in the top 6. Preston haven't lost many.
No.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're not thinking playoffs. We're thinking autos. That's what we're thinking, and we had enough of the playoffs, haven't we, the last couple of years? We don't want to go through that again.
I'm not mentioning the P word.
No.
But also, I want the AP word that we're not saying, because we got robbed of celebrating that properly in League One, and I'm too young to remember like when we did it before. So I want a proper season of AP to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. You want a proper presentation where you can take the trophy around the city, etc. We were denied that, weren't we? Unfortunately, but there you go. Some more comments, Claudio.
Yes, there is.
Go on
then. Lee Lishman says, while rivals were signing players and spending money, I think there's a lot to be said for keeping your squad lean together, getting the right balance mentality. Good team spirit makes all the difference.
Agree with that.
Well, back in the old days,
I remember saying that in the summer, because there was very few players that teams bought that I actually thought I was that bothered about. A lot of them were just moving journeyman players around, like lots of sort of fairly average championship players moving from one championship team to another. There was only a handful of players that I thought, I'd have had them and they'd make us, like they might get sort of starting 11. I think people get a bit overly bothered about what other teams are doing rather than just looking at what we've got. So yeah.
Well,
I thought the two we missed. Sorry.
No,
I thought the two we missed were Akpom coming back on loan to Ipswich and Morris. And Akpom can't get in the Ipswich side.
See, I do all of them. Yeah.
I'm not too fussed on Morris, to be honest.
He's a bit one-dimensional, isn't he?
Not
I think Akpom. I think Cameron Archer made Akpom better. I'd rather have Cameron Archer. That's someone I've always wished to.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think
might be right there.
Carmen of Macram says, you just cannot believe the amount of people online coming out the woodwork slagging Coventry off. It's pure jealousy, I'm sure. It's always the same, though, because when you're the underdog and you're not quite getting there, everyone says, oh, you deserve to go up. Oh, what a shame. And as soon as you're top of the table, they go, what are they doing there? They shouldn't be top of the table. You can't win, can you? But we are top of the table. I've mixed feelings about Richardson, says Mark Lights. He did great stadium improvements, bought players who were to top draw. They were top draw, some of those players. Brian Tully says fantastic work with Jim. Assassins Unite, make me sway. Mason-Clarke running down the wing, scoring goals makes the city sing. Ash says, massive thank you for sharing the fundraiser for Alicia. We are currently in the process of finalising the route and will confirm all details shortly. Thank you all so much for your support. We've got a Derby fan on there, keeps ringing the praise of mid-table Derby.
They're doing well. No, they're doing well at the minute.
Yeah, still mid-table though.
John Eustace
they played some nice stuff yesterday against Blackburn.
Was that Mike M. King? Sorry. After the international break, Coventry played 5 of the current top 6 teams in the top 10 of the league, 5 in a row. After we're back against West Brom, we can put the league to bed if we go on a streak. Things like you're saying, it changes so much. By the time you play some of these teams, they're out of the top 6.
Yeah.
You normally get 3 teams who kind of look like 2 of them are going to go up out of the 3, don't you? Then you get like a team in 4th who pretty much are nailed on, and then you got about 4 teams fighting for the 2 places. Sorry. Looks like we're playing a lot of the challenges away in the first half of the season. It'd be great if we can get through those.
Yeah.
The goal difference is brilliant, isn't it, as well, though?
Well, that's worth extra points, isn't it? Goals.
It's absurd.
Assassins Unite, we've won 10 out of the 15 with 1 defeat with half of the team out. It's true, because we've had injuries. We've had people missing. I think there's only been Grimes and the keeper pretty much always playing. The others has Kitchen played most of the games as well. I think Thomas has missed on the suspension, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Missed 1.
Yeah. So it's
Kitchen's missed probably 1 maybe, but not many. But you're right. Yeah, there's not been. There's been a few changes, and that's when you need strength and depth, isn't it? You need a big squad, but.
Yeah, but the problem is it's difficult. You need players like Jamie Allen came on at the end of the game. He came on against midweek against Sheffield United. Coming off the bench is fine. You just can't carry 3 or 4 of them like we did against Wrexham. We know that, and it's not going to happen unless we're desperate and we've got loads of injuries.
Yeah,
but we're not in a position to be able to afford to have absolute like for likes on the bench. Just the way it is, we haven't got that kind of money. We could do it in the Premier League. You can't do it in the Championship. You can't afford it.
And it affects team spirit as well, because they're not going to sit on the bench if they're good players. I'm amazed Kane Kessler-Hayden has been quite so up and fun and relaxed, because player of the season for Preston last year. I'd have thought he arrived for $3.5 million, expecting a regular place.
Well, it looked like Van der Beek was on the move, didn't it, at one stage? Yeah. And then obviously he stayed with us, so which is great, because.
But his demeanour seems quite teamy, and he's not sulking.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they all look happy, don't they? I suppose it probably helps. He is getting a fair amount of sub appearances, isn't he? Like, he does come on quite a lot, probably one of the most for minutes off the bench, and sometimes just playing in front of Milan as well. So I guess if he feels like he has got a chance to come on most games, that probably helps a little bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting because substitutions has changed so much over the years. Because years ago, if you're subbed, it's because you're playing rubbish, basically, and you got pulled off. Now it's, oh dear, shouldn't have said that. But nowadays, it's a lot of it's tactical or just fresh legs, isn't it? It's nothing to do with what your performance is like, which it makes a big difference for the players coming off as well, because they're probably thinking, I'll get taken off, but I know I'll probably start the next game.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago, as you know, especially when it was one sub, you got.
Oh yeah, God.
If you're having a mare, you just got taken off by your manager, and that was it.
Subs can be game changers these days, can't they? You look to the bench sometimes for a bit of possibility, action, and it can change a game if you've got the right subs.
King, I mean, this could be dug in disguise, couldn't it? Lampard and the coaching staff have to be given credit, but also the scouting staff for recommending getting Sakamoto, EMC, Torp, who to most of us were complete unknown players, have been incredible.
Mm.
If you get that lad from Sweden, he looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yes, Paul Aldridge bigging up the derby.
I saw that, yeah.
Craig Robinson, 3 points should be awarded to the team with the greatest goal difference at the end of the season. It would encourage teams to score goals and not just try and park the bus and make games boring.
That's a very good idea. I think we should petition for that, and it should start this season.
Twice a season, once at Christmas and once in May.
Yeah. Because no one's catching our goal difference now. We're going to have an absolute catastrophe to. So,
I think, Vicky, our goal difference is more than the total of the top 6 combined.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we've got 27. Middlesbrough got 6. Stoke 11, 17, 23. 2 is 25. 22 is the goal difference of the next 5 teams, and we've got 27.
That's bonkers.
And even if you take away, even if the QPR game was say 2-0, it still would be 25 goal difference.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, really. It's absolutely brilliant.
There aren't going to be many teams that go to Millwall and beat them 4-0, are there?
No.
It's true. It's true. And I'm looking now, and quite a few of the so-called top teams have lost a lot of games already. So it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We should all be happy.
There's a lot of people on the comments mentioning Lusa from Watford.
Yeah, decent player. Decent player.
Class against us, didn't they?
But Watford play big money, don't they, as well? They got, it's... I don't know. I think, to me, it'd be all down to wages and whether or not... we must have some policy in place, some structure, and I can't see Doug King going overboard. As you get, we'll be paying £55-60 a ticket at this rate.
I'll go with a free season ticket. I'm fine.
Well, no, I won't be.
I'm me.
Looks like I'll be covering your ticket then. Alex Robinson says, I'll get this up. That reminds me, Claudia, of the time Rodney Marsh was told by Sir Ralph Ramsey he'd be getting pulled off at half-time. Rodney said, Christ, at Man City, you only get a cup of tea and an orange at half-time. I'm pretty sure that killed his England career. Lee Lishman says, even if I wasn't a Cov fan, it restores your faith in football to see a side 20th in the league for players' wages and without a parachute payment. We should be an example to the rest of the teams in the league. Not only that, Lee, but you got the top 6 all doing it. They're all, clubs have had no parachute payments. You got Ipswich, and it goes all the way down to 10 out of the top 12 haven't got parachute payments.
Yeah.
And which 2 of them have just come out of League One as well. So it's brilliant. Brilliant. Over to you, Ken.
Okay, right. All right, then let's we have got a competition going on. And Vicky's been very busy all night trying to get all the correct answers on the spinny wheel, haven't you, Vic?
I have.
You have. There's a picture of the player we wanted. He's from the 1980s. And his name is Ian?
Steve Jacobs.
Steve Jacobs, of course.
He was one of three lads that came from the West Ham Academy in the 80s. Steve Whitten, Nick Phillips and Steve Jacobs.
Well, there you go. See, Ian knows all about it. He was from a London lad, weren't he? So
yeah, I used to work down there. I used to bring Nick Phillips' girlfriend up to the night matches. I used to work with her.
Right, okay. And he wasn't a bad player for us, was he, back then? He did a job.
A little bit short to be a centre half, moved into midfield and went down to Charlton, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. That's the answer we wanted then. Steve Jacobs. How many entries we got, Vic?
So 20 people got it right.
Oh, 20. Okay.
Yeah, 20. So
you squeezed them all on the spinny wheel, have you?
they're all on the spinny wheel. Yeah.
Okay.
Shall I bring that up?
Yeah, a bit busy, Vic. Yeah. Been busy in the background.
There we go. Can you see the spinny wheel?
No. Yes, we can now. Yes.
Crikey.
My God, you can't see the names, but you can see the spinny wheel. But yeah, okay.
Right, let's go then.
Press the button. There we go. Now, Ian,
this
of
is all
course.
high tech, isn't it?
Yeah, Ian's won this before, haven't you, Ian? The other week.
Yeah, I'm going to get my mug off you at West Brom.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Mick
Mick
Kelly.
Kelly. Congratulations, Mick Kelly. If you send us your details on an email, and we'll, if you live locally, you might even get the pleasure of me delivering it. If not, we'll put it in the post for you. Congratulations, Mick Kelly. That's tonight's winner of Guess the Player. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a competition. Now, we've got a couple of videos to show before we go. Sorry, that weren't the one. This is the one.
What was that? Spot the ball?
No, that was... what was that? Hold on.
Fantastic.
30 points again.
In my imagination, what has Tats been in the gym? Does he look a bit stockier to you this season?
He does a little bit,
Yeah.
actually. I think he has been down the gym, to be honest.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
not quite.
he does.
I mean, he's never going to be a bruiser, but he's not the little lightweight, fragile lad he was when he came.
No, that's
definitely
right.
not.
He's not getting knocked off the ball easy like he was before, is he?
He's such a big player for us.
Brilliant. And I think he's moved here. He's obviously planning to move his house here, so I believe he lives in London with his family at the minute. But I think from what I've heard, he's looking at a house in Warwickshire to buy as well. So he's looking to move closer home with his family. So
for 18 months.
I don't know, but that's what I've been told. 18 months. Well, I think he's looking to stay here a long term. What I'm saying is he's
being offered a contract.
I had the Cotswolds anyway, which is quite a nice little area, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lovely area. That's sort of on the border of Warwickshire, near enough, isn't it? And I think I don't know what you think, Ian. I think he's fell in love with the club, hasn't he? Since he's been here, he loves the club, and the fans have took to him.
It's a two-way relationship, isn't it? That after the the month or two of the post-Robbins doubters, 17th to 5th got us up to the playoffs. And I just think I used to work with his nan, Lamps, down at the London Hospital, Hilda, lovely lady. She always used to get me tickets for when we played West Ham. And, you know, that semi-final in 1980 when we lost to an Jimmy Neighbour goal side. I was at that game in the dressing room with the players afterwards, broken-hearted. And he's a bright lad, Frank. I used to play for his dad's pub team, the Britannia, down in Plaistow. And they sent him off to Brentford public school to give him a bit of an education, because Frank Senior always said if he wasn't a footballer, he'd probably be in Nick. You know, it was very easy in those days to go the wrong side of the street. And he's always been a down-to-earth, bright, intelligent, articulate lad, Frank Lampard Jr. And he's worked so hard at being the best he could be. And of course, he's a legend as a player. And I think having a name like that come to little old Coventry City, as most people would call us, was always a risk. I remember talking to you, Ken. I wanted John Eustace and McFadzine to come. I wanted those two.
A lot of people.
Ex-Cov, keep it in the family, somebody with a buy-in to the club. But I think Lampard's working miracles. He's obviously got a great coaching team with him as well. Players like Rodoni and Brandon up front, Torpy. You know, they are different players. It's like, you know, we said we didn't buy anybody in the summer. Well, we did. We bought 3 new players. Brandon Thomas Asante Mark II, Victor Torp Mark II, and probably Sakamoto Mark II as well, because they've all been absolutely outstanding under Lampard. So has he fallen in love with us? I hope so, because we've certainly fallen in love with him. Fans love him. I think anybody associated with the club loves him. And he's such a decent bloke. Did you see that interview the other day when they were doing the work in the community? They had the EFL work. He didn't have to stay on for that. He didn't have to spend a day away from his family to be there, but he was there, front and centre, doing the interviews. And you can't put that on. You can't fake that. I think he's just a genuinely decent bloke. And as I said, I knew his family of old, so they're down in London, and he comes from good stock. They were good, what we'd call good, decent folk, you know. I think it's
do you think he's learned from his past experiences at Everton and Derby?
Frank Lampard would learn from driving around a roundabout. He would always learn, because he's so bright. You know, A-level Latin and all that we joke about, but you know, he's a really bright bloke. And if you can't learn, and if you haven't got self-awareness, you'll never get on in life. And he's been brilliant. He's got the right people around him. He's a great coach, and I just think he's on the verge of becoming a legend. Actually. If we do what everybody wants us to do in May, and I'm not using the P word, he will be up there, won't he?
Oh, without shadow. I think we're on the verge of something special with Frank Lampard, and he comes across as a very likeable guy, and he speaks his mind, doesn't he? You know, Very, very intelligent. He knows his football.
Did you see how he reacted to that lad who's thanked him? He said, "I'm from Coventry." See that little interview at the end of the EFL clip? He said, "By the way, I don't think you know." He said, "I'm from Coventry, and all the pubs and all the clubs, and the impact you've had. Thank you very much." He filled up. Yeah. Frank, it's really nice. We don't always see that. Thanks, it's really nice.
Yeah,
dead genuine. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, he's very down to earth, and I say hopefully with all these other job opportunities coming up, he doesn't do a Rob Edwards and decide to.
I saw a comment on the things about Rob Edwards. Again, you think what a lovely, decent bloke, did a great job at Luton, and then he's just left a top 2, top 3 club to get a Wolves.
Absolutely crazy. I think
there's only one reason. There's only one reason he's gone and done that.
Yeah,
it's for the money, isn't it?
It's money, isn't it? And some people say, well, his family's from around there and stuff like that. But if that's the case, then why take the Middlesbrough job in the first place? If you're gonna, if you know how far Middlesbrough is, doesn't he?
He would have had choices after his spell at Luton. Yeah. He would have had choices. He would have had choices to go to Stoke maybe before Mark.
Very strange because Middlesbrough is such a strong.
I would be devastated if somebody poached Lampard. And do you know what? I think if what happens, what we hope to happen in May, and we stay up, if we were to go up and stay up, which is going to be even harder. Thomas Tuchel's up for renewal in 3 years.
I wouldn't rule out Frank to be the next England manager.
And do you know what? That's the only job I would feel that he would leave us for.
Yeah.
Because the West Ham fans don't like him after he went to Chelsea. He's done Chelsea, tick that box.
Yeah.
I would love to think that he'd have 3 golden years with us and then become the next England boss.
Yeah. Will King's come on and said, no one's poaching Frank Lampard. Wow. Good. I quite agree. I think he's here for the long term, the long run, if you like. He's building something special, I think, and long may that continue. Claudio, we've got a show on Thursday. What's going on?
Quickly, we're going to do an England watch along, and it's what the papers say. I've got a couple of old papers like we did last time. We're going to go look at some of the old stories and just have a bit of a giggle. And
that went down really well last time.
Every 5 minutes, like we did then, we'll just keep saying we're top of the league.
Yeah. Well, we've got to do something this international break.
Just imagine what we're going to be like when we really start firing. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there you go. Talking of firing, we're going to leave you with this guy.
Orange surface just off the pitch and now back onto the grass and hurls it in. And this time it's hooked home. It's a goal for Coventry City. It banked.
That's our last goal before. Yeah, definitely, without a shadow of doubt. That's our last goal before the obviously the international break.
Coventry player that.
Yeah, and we'll be back Thursday for a live show. Ian, thanks very much, all the way from France.
It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Thank you as always.
Vicky, see you all. And I'm even getting to like Ellis Sims, Vicky. So there you go.
I know, it's great.
I knew you'd win in the end. Ellis is a man. Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you.
Got me Poppy on, so remember all the lost.
On as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you, Claudia, for coming on as well, as always.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Say again?
I've got to go to Hickory's now and pick my daughter up. She's working there, so I've got to.
Oh, you go to Hickory's? Okay. All right, then. We won't waffle on too long. Right, next live show is obviously on Thursday. Join us then, where we'll have a bit of a quiz and a bit of a laugh. And we're still top of the league, that's all I can say. The Sky Blues are sky high. Very good night to you all. Play up, Sky Blues.
Au revoir.
Play up, Sky Blues.
Stay safe.
Good night.
See you at the Baggies game.
Yes.
Yes, hopefully.
Start to love it. Sky Blue Fans TV. For the fans, by the fans.